Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well. From wherever you're watching this channel, one of the biggest expectations of William Samoei Ruto is that he's going to get more votes from the Somali land or the Somali community. Those votes are supposed to replace the Kikuyu votes which he could have gotten if at all he was still with Rigathi Gachagua. Remember, politics is all about the math. Now, talking about politics and all about the math, let us shift our focus to Duale. We know Duale is one of those people from the Somaliland who has assured William Samoei Ruto of all the votes from the Somali. That explains the main reason why Ruto decided to remove that policy of vetting, ID vetting. Now, guess what? There's something I wanted to listen in, and this is an attack directed at Aden Duale. Just watch this video.
Gachagua hana shida na Wasomali, wako shida na Duale peke yake, na Duale ndo anafanya kritim, anaeleza watu ya kwamba watu wachukie. Mimi nitakwambia Duale asitunganishe sisi na Wakikuyu. Wasomali na Wakikuyu wa Nairobi, wa Garissa wanashikana. In the morning biashara ikifunguliwa Nairobi, mtu ya kwanza kuingia duka ni Mkikuyu. Wale ambao wanachukua mizigo yetu ni Wakikuyu. Islini Wakikuyu na Wasomali wanafanya biashara pamoja. Asitugonganishe na kabila zingine wa Kenya.
Now, Duale is being warned against creating an enmity between the Kikuyu community and the Somali community. And according to the video, Duale is creating a picture that the Somali community are not in support of the Kikuyu community. That is something that has been talked about in that video. And if you are very keen, you must have noticed that that is actually the position. Now, allow me to take it to something that the Standard newspaper has shared. This is a Saturday Standard newspaper. Now, the Saturday Standard newspaper has talked about Aden Duale again. Now, this time round, Aden Duale has been exposed, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me quickly take you through the headline. You'll be shocked. The headline is Duale's war drums. There's a story here because Duale is the CS for health, and there's a controversy already about SHA. But apart from the controversy, there's a story here regarding Aden Duale, which I also want to take you through, and this has been exposed by the Standard newspaper. But before I take you through the story, kindly take this opportunity, like this video, subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed before. I've discovered that many of you good viewers watch our videos, but if you forget to like, please subscribe, and thank you so much for that support. So Duale has been exposed here by the Standard newspaper, and this is what it says. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale is once again at the center of a political firestorm, accused of stoking tribal tensions with reckless remarks that critics warn could drag Kenya back to the dark days of 2007. From MPs, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, voices across the divide are demanding his apology or his impeachment, branded careless, divisive, and outrageous. Duale's outburst has not only reignited old wounds, but also exposed the government to fresh scrutiny over tribal politics, insecurity, and governance ahead of the 2027 election. So that story from the Standard newspaper has actually exposed Duale. And that is the Duale that has been presented to you, ladies and gentlemen. So what do you think about the Standard newspaper's comment? There's also another video I'm going to take you through regarding some remarks again on Duale. But let's cut the long story short first of all before I share the video. Duale is creating a political war between two communities. There's a story here about ICC and the story about so many things, and a story about what Duale said back then, I think a couple of months ago, a month ago, and we talked about 2027 being, more than 207. That was a very shocking statement. But again, there's something that you need to understand in politics, and I've always maintained this channel that politicians always have their foot soldiers who can always say each and everything they want to say, but they are always speaking the minds of their leaders. So the big question is, who is Duale's leader? That answer you can just tell us below on the comment section. But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to pay attention to this video. This is what Duale has been told.
Our constitution. The media is like the fourth estate of the government, the watchdog. Aden Duale, I have to remind you one thing. The TJRC report that was prepared and, fully presented by Ambassador Bedwell Kiplagat, the late Bedwell Kiplagat, the person who rejected the report was not Uhuru Kenyatta. It was the very same president whom you are serving today when he said the report has a lot of inconsistencies and has a lot of, incomplete things. So instead of you being in Mbalambala venting the issues of marginalization and whom should speak or not in this country, I think you know whom to ask that question. You know what shocks me, Wakenya? Na munanishangaza sana. If you really want to understand somebody like Duale, he has nothing to lose. He is filthy rich. If this country is going to burn down today, Duale has his kids and families living abroad, investments everywhere abroad. So these are the people who will not be even feeling the pinch of what this country will go through if, God forbid, we are going to break down. And then, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, our president, you said you are the consumer of raw intelligence in this country. Probably you know how corruption works in the parliament. Okay? Nobody knows in this country, nobody in this country receives credible and clear intelligence than you. You are the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Kenya. So, you get true intelligence. Then why are you shocked when the governor for Isiolo was able to access 150 million to bribe the senators? And you are here calling it Sokohuru. When was the last time our parliament discussed foreign policy that now we are establishing a consul in Goma, a rebel-controlled region, that we are going against the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of another country? When was the time? The only bills I see in our parliament is bills from the lobbyists, manufacturers, and multinational corporations. I've never seen a public participation-led bill that is fully being deliberated by members of National Assembly. When Rigathi Gachagua was fired, I might not like him, but he was not removed on the grounds that you guys outlined. Rigathi Gachagua was removed due to the monetary means and the buying in of members of parliament financially. You did. I'm shocked. A whole president have the audacity in standing in front of devolution conference, denying that he doesn't know what is happening. The executive have fully tamed the members of National Assembly. Actually, the legislature is not independent as you guys think. Every whims and will they do is being commanded and given directions by the executive. It's like leaving your goat and cows with the hyena very well, knowing that the hyenas are going to eat it. And when the goats are eaten, you wonder why. Wakenya mali tumefika. We've become the fans of mediocrity in our politics. Kenyans, we want to plant maize and expect to harvest rice. Leadership is not like betting. That is not leadership. These guys, I'm telling you, the same Aden Duale will have the audacity and the confidence of coming out in 2027 and he will say the elections can be postponed. Or they will say a term will be extended. If politicians in this country can say anything and nobody is holding them accountable, then I'm not shocked with what Aden Duale is saying. Remember the 2015 Garissa University attack and what Duale said later. He said, I owe Kenyans no list. That is what he said. So if some of you are seated here waiting sympathy from the government, I'm really sorry, guys. Okay? Guys, what shocks me? How are you going to be accountable when you cannot even unearth the crimes committed in this country? We have to look all the time to BBC African Eye. Like the case when our young girls are being sexually assaulted. The case for Medihill in Eldoret. It took BBC, but a whole agency whom we are bailing out and paying billions of money annually, they said anybody who has the report on the sexual issues and allegations in Naivasha and Medihill should come out and present. What is the role of National Crime Research Center? That is another department in the Ministry of Interior. Kenya, we've become complacent to cheap politics, okay? So if this country is going to burn down and things will not work, these politicians have their investment in Dubai. The governors have their investment in UAE. They've bought mansions. They've bought good plots. Good, huge chunk of land in Central African Republic and other areas growing maize. Kenya, this is what we inflicted on ourselves.
Now, very well, ladies and gentlemen, Duale has created some political tension with his reckless remarks. That is what is being said, ladies and gentlemen. So just go below in the comment section and tell us, what do you think about this statement regarding Duale? Duale ameonekana ni yeye anasababisha war between communities. Duale has talked about 207 and likened it to 2027, that 2027 is going to be big than 207. We don't want to remember things that happened in 207, because 207 ilikuwa ni siku mbaya kabisa, ilikuwa ni wakati mbaya kabisa, na subjecting Kenya to the similar status. I think Duale is being reckless here. I think personally, I don't agree with Duale kabisa, but that's what the Standard newspaper has told us, ladies and gentlemen. So first and foremost, before I wind up this video, just go below in the comment section and tell us what you think about the publication from the Standard newspaper, Duale's war drums. And I've given you some brief story about what the Standard newspaper said. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.